In January, I was broke. I had no money. Every day, every hour, I had to work just so I could catch up on rent. I was several months behind. My whole year last year was almost heaven-like. You know, it was great. I bought a motorcycle. I was living off of savings. I didn't have to like have a job or anything. I just moved out of my parents' place. I was dating. I was just hanging out with my friend, and it was like a TV show that we were living pretty much every day. We were just buying stuff and having fun like all of last year. Oh yeah, and I got into boxing and all that stuff. It was a whole different vibe last year compared to this year. This year is just like everything's just been on fire. The only thing really I could do was just kind of like pray and just do push-ups.
Oh yeah.
Every day I would rededicate myself to the process of the grind, the comics grind, you know. And
grind, baby. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Comics Grind. I am one of your hosts, Nico Rodriguez.
And I'm Ken, aka Comic Ken on YouTube.
And welcome back to another weekly comics discussion. We're at like episode 34 now. We're getting pretty high up there, dude.
Yeah. We're
I mean, like
long, man.
I can see the 100 mark, like just beyond the horizon. It's right
there.
there.
Way far beyond the horizon, almost in space even.
Yeah, we're gonna need like a rocket ship to get there at this point, but
yep.
It's all good, dude. Before we get into the weekly grind stuff, man, I want to ask you. We got this new development in the art space, man. PROCREATE DREAMS just came out about a week or two ago, or no, about like a week ago now. Have you delved into it at all? Have you made some sick animations?
No.
There it is.
Yep. I got the program, and it comes with like 3 fully done animations that you can kind of like scroll through and pick apart. So I've been like looking at those, but I haven't had time to like really like mess with it yet.
Yeah. I saw those kind of samples in there. And actually, like, so you have PROCREATE, right? Like the regular PROCREATE?
Yeah, I do, but I never use it. It's just like there.
So there's, by the way, like PROCREATE, if whoever is out there needs a digital cheap thing to do, or to a cheap app to use that does a whole bunch for your money, a $10 one-time fee, PROCREATE is highly recommended from my part. But I was talking about that because actually in the standard PROCREATE there is an animation feature in the standard.
Oh really?
Yeah, you just have to, if you go up to the little wrench in the corner and you go down to animation assist and you turn that on, it has like a very, very standard basic animation feature to, you know, draw frame by frame. You know, it's not as, and not even saying that PROCREATE DREAMS is super robust, but it's not as robust as that. So like just a hint, just in case like the standard PROCREATE users want to try out some kind of animation, they actually have it in the main app.
Right.
But yeah, I downloaded it too, man. And actually at this point, yeah, because it's coming out this Friday, but I did like a quick little animation of like one of my Brew Monster pages. I didn't like draw it frame by frame or anything. I just got like the actual page and just kind of you know, like zoomed in and out on certain things,
right,
and put like some voiceover for it, you know, some like cartoony voices and stuff.
Did you watch a tutorial on how to do that, or did you just kind of like play around with the app?
You know, I tried to, but I couldn't really find any, you know, first of all, it's so early, so there's not a ton of tutorials out there.
Right.
But second of all, I wasn't really trying to, you know, draw like a frame by frame animation on it. But I was really just trying to like animate the page that was already drawn. So I couldn't really find anything that could help me in that regard. So I kind of just did some trials on it and kind of eventually found out how to get stuff in there. It was pretty cool. It's rough and stuff, but it was kind of fun using. It's not a hugely, like I said, it's not a terribly robust program as of yet, but it'll kind of get you the basics. And I did notice that the only thing that kind of sucks about it right now is that it only goes, at least as far as I know. If any of the viewers out there know any better, you can. But I think you can only go up to 30 seconds on an animation, in 30 seconds per file.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, which is kind of, I mean, it's fine because that, you're not going to make like a huge, hour and a half animated
Yeah, you're
feature
not making a movie
on
on
that.
that yet.
But yeah, it's cool, man. And yeah, when you pick apart those sample videos they have on there, you can kind of see how they're doing it, where they,
Yeah.
they bring in like a background, an image as the background, and they just animate on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
And
I
actually,
used to use this program called Rough Animator if I wanted to do any animations, but it was really intuitive, and I'm hoping that Procreate Dreams will be the same. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it can be, because there is some real kind of streamlined processes in it, to get some kind of simple animation. And for us as comic creators, I think it could, you can throw your air writer pages in there and kind of do some kind of fun stuff with it. Throw some sound effects in there, without even having to, draw frame by frame animation.
Right.
So
Yeah. I even noticed that Nick did a little animation for Axewood and posted
yeah,
that.
yeah, that was cool. That was
Yeah.
super cool. So it's cool stuff, man. But weekly grind, man. What you been up to in comics this week?
I finally got back to like drawing my actual comic. But my depression isn't over. So it's like I still have to learn a whole bunch of marketing stuff and like apply it, but I finally gotten back to like diving into the drawing process of things and
Nice.
like
Yeah, I
really
think I
trying to.
saw you posted some progress pics on your newsletter post too.
Yeah,
Cool.
and everyone should join my newsletters, the Flight Crew. The link is in description. All that good stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I'm just right now I'm surrounded by literally all my books and everything that I use to like learn. Um
What
or
is
like
that right there? What was
it's
that?
called Mad. And I
You
bought
ever?
this book a long time ago. It has a bunch of like great art and pages from Jack Davis and
Okay, nice.
all that stuff. So I
Sweet.
learned a lot from those. Um like I got my like Daredevil book on here. I got a book like from Cerebus on here. So yeah, I'm just like going through everything like my
Is that Perry
uh
Moore? No,
yeah,
no, no.
Terry Moore. He's
Yeah.
also on YouTube as well, so I got
Yeah.
like what was it? What's this guy's name? Bob
Is it
Robert
Crumb?
Robert Crumb. Yeah, R Crumb.
Bob Crumb.
And all this like I'm going through everything that I ever bought, ever learned from, and just I'm just having them around me to like absorb and then put into like my comic page. So anytime I need like some kind of reference, I'll grab it, look through it, grab something over here, look through that, and then it's just like it's all informing what I'm putting on the page.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. I do that a ton too. It's, and sometimes like I'm not even like looking at the book, I
Yeah,
just have it next to me. And it's weird. It's like it almost like, that osmosis is just like absorbing into your brain.
exactly. Yep. It's just like absorbing it and then putting it out.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. No, that's good that you're back on the drawing board. That's the most important stuff.
Yep.
um yeah, as for me, um most of this week has been working on Brew Monsters, and um really the primary focus is I'm finally, I know in the last episode or two maybe I was kind of talking about how I was kind of taking a little bit of a shelving break from West Not South, just
Right.
to kind of give my mind a break from the project, let me kind of restart, refresh. um but I'm finally back on it, doing some proofreading, and resizing and uploading finished pages as I proofread them.
Nice.
So basically my next stop, or sorry, my next step in the process is to kind of get all the final files into a share link,
Uh-huh.
and then get that over to a printer to get a proof going. You know, that's kind of my big thing. I want to get a proof back, kind of see how it is, make sure everything looks good, and then proceed from there. You
Right.
know.
Actually, I was about to ask about Brew Monsters and how long you're planning on that for that to be.
Yeah, right now, just a one shot right now. So 20 pages. Just a 20-page one shot story. It can I think I said it before, it can certainly go for as long as I want it to go, because there's a lot of stuff to mine there. But you know,
Right.
just right now, the intention with Brew Monsters at the beginning was to be like a palate cleanser for me,
Hmm.
and just get my mind involved in something else while still drawing comics, because you know, while I love doing sketches and kind of, you know, some fan art type of pieces and stuff, um, the more and more the more the deeper I get into, you know, my comics career,
Hmm.
the less I feel like doing those, you know, kind of fan art sketches and stuff.
Right.
So that's why I was like, you know, instead of kind of doing that, let me kind of go into a new project. So that's what started Brew Monsters. But yeah, it'll be, and the, you know, the cool thing I can do with that is once I serialize everything online and everything,
Yeah.
um, I've got a new product for next year. You know,
Right.
a new book that I can size up, get out to a printer, and get a new comic, you know, in my
Yeah.
inventory. So that was kind of the other kind of cool driving factor of that. You know,
How many pages you gotten so far?
I'm real close to the end, man. 16, 17 pages.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, I've been the real kind of cool thing about Brew Monsters is, you know, I don't know if you've seen a couple of the pages, but you know, I'm doing them in 6 panels. So every page is 6 panels.
Right.
So I have my setup, you know, right from the beginning. So it's like I can just bring in my grid. I've got it ready to go and just start penciling, you know. So
Right.
that's been saving me a lot of time. Um, and just kind of going for it. So
Nice.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It'll be cool to have that one out there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of been
And
my week.
nice. And I also like that point about like how you're kind of backing off the fan art stuff and starting to make more of your own work, and like it's not as appealing to you as it was before, because like we're making the new things that will become what people are fans of in the future. So it's like Invincible, the comic, isn't a fan art
Mm.
of something else. It's its own thing, and people make fan art of that. So it's like eventually one day people will be making fan art of Brew Monsters or of West Not South or of Air Rider.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right, man. The way that I kind of see it, and the way that, you know, I see other kind of more successful artists um, use fan art, it's as marketing mechanisms. You know, because
Right.
whenever you do a time lapse video of drawing Wonder Woman or something, it's just automatic engagement, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then if you're to the level where you can do a time lapse video of you drawing, you know, whoever, then that's going to spawn off like commissions, you know, because people are
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, like that character looks awesome in his style. I want one of my favorite characters in his style." Like a guy like Jesse Lonergan, he does that a lot. He's got a really cool, unique style. And I, you know, I spoke with him at Heroes Con, and like, you know, his heart is with like, you know, his original comics, his Image comics and stuff.
Right.
But you know, he does a lot of like fan art things, but the reason why he does it, because like, dude, once he does one, like he gets so much traction on it, he gets commission requests, and you know, those things help so much, you know, when you're a full time guy. So
Right.
I definitely don't rule out the fan art stuff, but if it's up to me, I'm gonna choose to kind of do whatever I feel like
Yeah.
drawing. So, but but yeah, man, that's about it. Other than that, just messed around with Procreate Dreams, kind of
Right.
messing around with that a little bit, and reading some comics too, man. So,
Nice.
but man, what do we have for the kind of main conversation today, dude?
Well, basically, we're just talking about like how did we like what we did this year. We're trying to do like a little retrospective of everything we did this year, what we went through, comics wise, job wise, personal wise, even, and like, did we accomplish what we set out to accomplish? What did we hope to achieve, and did we hit that mark?
Yeah, I think that's just to start off, man. It's been quite a long year, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there were some times that kind of flew by a little bit quicker than others, but um, in a nutshell, for me, just kind of starting off like at the top of the list.
And we'll
Just I
just
did it. Yeah.
we'll just like go back and forth based on subject. So like
Yeah.
maybe we start with like, I guess, how did you do in terms of your comic progression, and then I'll do mine, and then we'll just kind of go back and forth like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to start with like as far as like us making our comics, like kind of how that went.
Yeah, like, or whatever topic you wanted to start with. What were you about to mention?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna kind of start off with just like the amount of shows that I did this year.
Right. Yeah.
Um, because that was kind of one of the, especially towards the beginning of the year, maybe a little bit less towards the latter part of the year, but
Uh-huh.
shows was one of the things that I really kind of wanted to drive home this year, and kind of do as many as I could,
Uh-huh.
without, honestly within my capability.
Right.
So I don't remember the exact count, but I did something maybe like close to like 10 to 12, maybe more. I don't think I did more than 12, but um, I think it was somewhere in that range. I would have to go back and get like a exact count, but
What was your goal with going out to shows? What were you trying to accomplish with that?
yeah, the big thing was, I one of the main things is I had never done an out of state show before, so
Uh-huh.
I did that as my first one at Heroes Con. So with Heroes Con, I knocked out two. Heroes Con, it was do an out of state show to kind of see how it is,
Uh-huh.
and do one of kind of like these bigger comic book specific shows. So
Right.
that kind of all got knocked out with Heroes Con. But just the main kind of goal behind all of it was really just to expand my network, man. Just meet new creators, meet new readers, and to have at least some portion of West Not South out to kind of promote and show people kind of what I've been working on, and kind of I think that at the end of the day, out of all the stuff that I've done, I think that West Not South is my most accurate depiction of my voice in comics.
Mm-hmm.
So as I created that, the 32 page comic, as I made those pages and as I got them to the printer and printed them out, and to have those in my hand, that was an achievement in itself. But then being able to bring that out to shows and show people something that, like, the thing that I've been most excited about in my career thus far.
Right.
So that was kind of like the real big thing. That's why I was kind of like, okay, let me try to do, shows in Austin. Let me try to do, some smaller shows. Let me go over to North Carolina and go to this big comic show just to kind of see how it is.
Right.
Obviously some wins, some losses, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it was the experience. I think show wise, I did what I wanted to do. And that's kind of why towards like the end of the year, I kind of backed off a little bit. I was kind of like, all right, from now, the latter part of October and the rest of the year, kind of just kind of mellowed out just to kind of take it all in. But
Yeah.
what about you, man? As far as kind of your your show traveling and all that, I know you've done a few. You're going to do another one this coming weekend. Is it kind of what you wanted to do, or
yeah? I only went to one show I think this year, and that was Eastern Rim, and that was back in, what was it, September, August?
September, yeah. I think it
Yeah,
was
September. And
September, yeah.
yeah, and it was good. Like, I'm not a big show guy. Personally, the whole reason why I'm trying to make this like a really good like online business is because I don't want to have to go out to shows to make a lot of money. But I think I'll do more next year. It's just that I'm not really like planning on it because shows cost a lot to go to sometimes. So like that's part of the budget that you had to factor into going out there and doing all that. So it's like, dang, do I really want to spend 60 and I don't really know how much I'll sell when I get to the show? It's that kind of thing. And I only have I only just now got some like inventory that I can actually sell at a show. So next show I do, which is Comic IndieCon coming up, I'll be able to actually get a read on how much people are willing to spend, what they want to buy from me, and all that kind of stuff. So it will be a lot of data that I can collect at this show because it's more of a small stakes, not a huge show. Didn't cost too much to get in, so I can learn a lot just from going to this one. Next year, I don't really I'm not really thinking about next year too much in terms of shows, but we'll talk about that on the next episode and whatnot.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good, man. I mean, you know, in my, from the experiences that I've had, and I've talked about it many times on the show before, I feel like there's so much value in the person-to-person interaction. But with that value comes like that significant cost up front or on the back end, with travel fees and all that good stuff. So
yeah.
What about what about in terms of your actual crafting? How in terms of your overall goals for the year, did you meet those? Did you kind of just fall short? How did that go for you?
In terms of actual like drawing the comic and getting it done, I didn't really have a huge major goal in terms of well, actually, yeah, I did have a goal. It was to get like 30 pages of the next chapter done. Like the next chapter is 30 pages, but I was hoping to in July. I even have it like written down here on kind of a like my door, and I was hoping to get this chapter done by April, like by the end of April. But that was a huge I don't even know what you call it, mistake, because it didn't end up turning out how I expected. It was like once I learned about how much I needed to know about marketing, everything became about that, and all my attention was then absorbed into, okay, how do I actually do all this marketing stuff and getting my name out there, getting noticed online, and figuring all that stuff out. And it surprised me how even when I had days and weeks, like even whole months without like my actual job, that I was like all my days were filled with just marketing or online, like setting things up online so that the next domino in the stack would mean something. The next thing that I did would mean something, like setting up a online store, or setting up a website, setting up an email list, all that kind of stuff. And that's basically what I've been like, or like making YouTube videos to see if I can like actually figure out what the algorithm is like. And then the rest of that time was taken up by like client work. So I had work where I was drawing a couple of covers for somebody else's comic, and then the rest of that time was spent coloring comics. So I did a lot of coloring comics this year. I did many pages of Axe Twitter John, about 7 or 8. And then I also did like a whole 36-page other comic book that has yet to be announced or isn't released yet. So that was like my first professional, like no, those weren't my first professional coloring gigs, but those were like the first, I guess you could call, serious coloring work that I did this year.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And I really hate it when time is taken away from my own projects, my own work.
Mhm.
But when it pays the bills, it's like you got to put that ahead of the personal stuff
Yeah.
until the personal stuff pays, pays your bills. That's why I'm
Yeah.
focusing so hard on the the marketing side of things.
Yeah, and that's kind of a thing that I've struggled with recently too, is kind of doing the projects that, maybe you don't want to be doing at the time and you want to
Mhm.
go and do something else or work on your own book or something. But it's kind of like that ever balance between the two. But like for you, man, I think that's some good stuff, dude. I know kind of the running joke on this show sometimes is, we open up with you and you're kind of like, "No, haven't got anything done." But
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at back, man, I mean, you've finished a full book, you've got these coloring gigs, you've got cover gigs, you've got things that haven't been announced yet. I mean, I think that's some good stuff, dude.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it, I never even really thought that it would be a lot of work, but it's like sometimes you do so much that you forget about some of the stuff that you've done.
Yeah, and the other part about it is like the thing that you're doing right now is the thing that you're most and maybe only excited about, and like the stuff that
Mhm.
you've done already is like in the past, and you're kind of like, all right, I'm over that stuff. The
Right.
next stuff is what is real. So you kind of almost ignore all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And we, yeah, yeah, yeah. But in terms of and there was one thing that you, and I don't know if you want to talk about it now, but you kind of brought it up earlier, um, before we started recording. But you were kind of
Uh-huh.
talking about, sometimes how like when you're drawing, like maybe you're drawing right now and it doesn't like feel the best. You kind of want it to be, um, maybe there's some kind of like aesthetic about, whatever you're drawing right now isn't exactly what you're capable of or something. Is that kind of
Oh
what you were
no.
hinting at before?
It was like um I thought my return to drawing my own comic would be like this magical experience, but it's really more like just kind of workman like, oh, okay, well, now I have to kind of get myself back into the motions of doing it and trying to get up to speed with my old level of skill, but also trying to improve on the level of quality in the comic itself. So it's like I know that to get back into anything properly, it takes at least a couple weeks or more before you get like acclimated to doing a certain task like every day. So that's what I'm really trying to do with my drawing, and it's like slow going right now, but then each subsequent page will get faster and faster as I just get more comfortable with the process of drawing again. Because before it was like um I start and then I stop. I start and then I stop. I have to do this marketing thing or this bullshit, or I have to like yeah, help this person out with their coloring thing, and then come back to the drawing. I don't feel like doing it. Let me go do something else. And then like now it's like, okay, I can do it
Watch an
today. I
Avatar
can
trailer.
say what?
Watch an Avatar trailer, and
Yeah, exactly. And make a video about it. And then like now it's like I spent the last week able to consistently draw it. I thought it would just be like eh, I thought it would just be like, okay, here's the time where I can fully focus on drawing the comic, but it's really still just like, okay, I can draw the comic and then I have to make some content for the next day, draw the comic, have to put this out here and there. So it's a mixed bag of everything, but at least I can put it at the top of my list now instead of
yeah,
having to put it at the bottom or not at all throughout the weeks or the days.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know about you, but like sometimes when I'm drawing my pages and stuff, some days you feel like things are just flowing well, and you're drawing exactly what you're seeing in your head. And then some days, dude, you just like cannot get an angle right, and it just like you just got to keep redoing it, and you put it away. You're like, dude, I can't draw worth shit. Like, what am I doing? Like what the hell is wrong? And like you put it away, then you come back to it and like you tinker it a little bit, and you're like, oh, there it is. You know, it's
Right.
so weird how that happens sometimes. Like I felt that happened to me the other day, and I was like trying to get a hand or something right, and
Mhm.
I was like, dude, what am I doing? Like, what is going on here? And then you just keep tinkering, and then finally it's like, okay, there it is. It's
Yeah.
a weird feeling sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, that's some good stuff. I think in terms of my crafting and stuff for the year, I think
Yeah, you've gotten
I've,
a lot done, man.
yeah, I think I have. And I think that's just kind of a testament to maybe my ADHD that maybe I have and maybe I don't, you know, to where like when I focus in on something, I cannot do anything but focus in on that thing. I just
Right.
recently learned this week that apparently that's like one of the major symptoms of ADHD is, yeah, it's hard to focus, but when you find something you focus on, you stay locked in 100%.
Really?
So that's something I learned.
Huh.
Um, but yeah, I mean, in terms of stuff that I've done, obviously the big one was West Not South, getting all the artwork and painting done for that.
Mhm.
That was my main primary goal for 2023,
Right.
and I achieved that. So I'm very happy about that. Um,
Nice.
Other than that, man, you know, got a handful of other commission gigs, some other comics work. Um, Also, Brew Monsters picked that thing up, and kind of cool that I might kind of squeeze that here out at the end of the year. Not in print form, but just in terms of getting some the pages done.
Right.
Um, you know, Doing all that while balancing everything else. Like you said, man. It's and the thing that I kind of lacked on is probably the marketing aspect. And I felt like maybe I started out strong in that aspect um, during the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
but then just kind of had to make a choice at some point throughout the year to be like, okay, do I want to focus on doing the marketing aspect and like a ton of maybe some fan art things and things to get the outreach out, or do I want to key lock in on the book?
Right.
So there was, I don't know when that moment was, but there was some moment there where I had to kind of make that decision. Ultimately, I mean, for my own personal well-being, I think I made the correct decision.
Yeah.
um but we'll see, because you can make all the stuff you want, but you also need to have some kind of marketing approach. And you know, who knows what that's going to be um, as the year evolves. There's so many different ways to do it: campaigning, crowdfunding, um, you know, websites, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Um,
Podcast.
Podcasts,
Yeah.
doing podcasts, doing our podcast.
Yeah.
So there's just kind of a lot of things to kind of think about in that regard. Um, but yeah, craft wise, man, and also just the other part of crafting, even more nuts and bolts from that. Like I feel like at the beginning of the year, I was a pretty beginner painter.
Mhm.
Um, I'm still a beginner painter, I think, but I think I've kind of found the ways I like to paint, which
Right.
which is I think is key. Especially when I like I've chosen watercolor, and watercolor is probably going to be my way of paint media for the foreseeable future because I like it a lot.
Nice.
Um, but when you see some watercolorists use watercolor, they're very clean, they're very fluid. They want everything to be very flat, very full. But I've just found that when I try to do that, I get too hard strung on like getting things perfect, and I've found that I gravitate to more of like the more kind of expressionist type of painting where I'm splattering and kind of being a little a little looser and quicker with it. So
Right.
that's actually been one of the coolest things that I've kind of developed this year, is to kind of, because it's fun, dude. I love when I have the time to kind of just sit down and splatter some paint and stuff.
Uh,
Um, I've found that I really enjoy that. Um, Other than that, working with some screen tones and stuff like that has been cool. But
nice.
yeah, just I'm happy that I continue to expand like my artistry portion of my stuff. So
Nice.
that's something I hope to continue to do over the years. But
Right.
um, what else, man? What else? What else is there?
Well, I guess the last thing I wanted to get into was just like the personal trials and tribulations that you might have gone through throughout the year. Because I know I've gone through a lot. Just like my teeth were messed up at the beginning of the year. Like I broke like one of my molars at the beginning, and I would say where I am right now is like night and day compared to where I was in January. In January, I was broke. I had no money, and then every day, every hour, I had to work just so I could catch up on rent. I was several months behind. So it was like I would go to the warehouse and I would work, and then I'd go to sleep in my car, and I would sleep for like maybe 3 hours so that I could work the next shift, and that would be another 8 hour shift. And I would
Mm.
just I did that for at least like 2 days before I was just like, all right, I gotta crash. And then like I went home and just crashed on my bed. And that was just to pay off rent because um my tooth had broken and I was just working based on a broken tooth. And then it wasn't until, let's say, March that it started giving me pain consistently. Like it was on that side and then it was on the top side, and both of them were just in pain all day, every day. I was sleeping at night and then I woke up and then it was just pain. I was just like, okay, this will go away in a little bit, in a few minutes. Okay, I'm ready for you to go now. But no, it just kept continuing and continuing. I was just like, what the hell is this? And I needed like pain relief immediately, and it was ibuprofen or Tylenol,
Yeah.
and that would kind of keep it at bay until I could get to a dentist. And then the fees and the pricing was just so much that I was just like, all right, well, there's no hope. You know what I mean? Like it was like times where I was just like, God dang. Like it's just like slam after slam after slam of like, yeah, this is life. Like my whole year last year was like really almost heaven like, it was great. Like I was like, I bought a motorcycle. I was living off of savings, so I didn't have to like have a job or anything. I just moved out my parents' place. I was dating. I was just hanging out with my friend, and it was like a TV show that we were living pretty much every day. We were just buying stuff and having fun, like, all of last year. And what else? Oh yeah, I got into boxing and all that stuff. It was a whole different vibe last year compared to this year. This year is just like everything's just been on fire. Like inside my soul has just been fire, and I've been like, all right, well. And even the friend that I had last year, he, I don't know, just stopped talking to me.
Mm.
So it's like I had to not only have like my teeth just be like killing me all day. Um, I was losing weight because I couldn't really eat too much. Because it would just get into the infection and whatnot. And then the only thing really I could do was just kind of like pray and just do push-ups, because I didn't really have anything. Like I couldn't go to a gym, or uh, I couldn't do anything like outside because it would cost money. So everything that I could do, I just did at home. I was tempted to go back to live with my parents and whatnot, but I didn't want to give up. Like I didn't want to stop what I was doing here, what I started here, and then just run back home. You know what I mean? So it's like every day I would rededicate myself to the process of the grind, the comics grind, and
Grind, baby.
and I found a job. I found a steady job where I could get decent meals at the dishwashing job that I work at, and then I found work in comics, like doing the colors and coloring work. Nick Pateri, like, he helped me a lot in that regard. Like, he gave me a gig on Axe Witter John, and I had to deliver on that. Like, I couldn't just, like, shit it out half-ass and be like, hey,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
give me
yeah,
your
for
money.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I put my best foot forward in that work, and put my best foot forward in that other job that I did. And I don't know, I just kept going to the point where it just sort of becomes easier and easier over time. I now have, like, just a little cushion of money. It's just a little bit more than I had last year, so it's like, or a little bit more than I had at the beginning of the year. I'm, like, still broke, but I'm not, like, zero. I'm still in the negatives because of like debt and whatnot, but I'm not suffering every month or every week. I can actually, like, take care of myself without overstraining. So that's really what has kind of set my fire for trying to make money at comics, trying to provide value to other people, and make just a really solid comic in general, because I know that there's a future, there's a point in the future where I'm just working at home on my comics and making them the best they can be. And then it doesn't even have to be um a huge income. It just enough for me to work full time and not have to go to a job. If I can manage that in the next 5 years or so, hopefully less, then I'll be supremely happy with that. I'll just be like, 20,000 working at home, fuck it, But yeah,
Making
that's the
comics,
dream.
man, drawing
Yep.
pictures. Dude, yeah, you've had quite a year, man. Like, in terms of me, man, I'm a little older than you, Ken. So, like,
Right.
those hardship types of years are behind me now.
Oh,
But
really?
I totally kind of, I totally relate to kind of all that stuff, man. Because, like, some of those years when I was younger, it was definitely a struggle.
Hmm.
Not only, whether it's financially or physically or something, but, mentally. Mentally, there were certainly some years where you're just kind of like, man, it's almost to a point where, like, it grinds you to a halt in everything you do. Whether it's
Yeah.
comics or working out or whatever. But that's good stuff. I mean, and the good part about it is, like, you're pretty much, you were at the low, right? And you've been rising. So it's kind of like, you know, let's I don't think it can't get worse, right? It can only kind of go up from here, and, like,
Yeah,
in
little by little.
2024. So
Mhm.
um that's some good stuff. I mean, in terms of my hardships, man, I think just kind of one of the big glaring one, like, comics wise, was that break in was pretty damn demoralizing. Whenever I got the car broken into and a whole bunch of original art stolen out of there.
What time of year was that again? What month?
That was in It was the night before Comic Palooza, which I think that was May, middle May. I can't remember the exact, but I think it was May was the month.
Yeah, it was like around
Um,
the start of the show.
yeah, yeah. It
Right.
was. So yeah, I guess that's almost a half a year ago now. Crazy. But yeah, that was kind of one of the big things, man.
Mhm.
But it. I think, it sucks to lose some of those original pages. It really does suck because, like, the
Right.
original cover and stuff were in there.
Yeah.
And some painted pieces that I really liked, but I
Right.
also had to redo a handful of a lot of pages,
Yeah.
which in the end came out better. So in that regard, like, let's move on with it. Um, so it's all good in that regard.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, in terms of, like, I think personally, I haven't had so many like personal hardships.
Hmm.
I think it's certainly been like a growing year for me, and to certainly kind of, um, it's definitely put my comics career into a perspective where it's like, okay, this is the stuff that I can get lost into for 14 hours a day, you know?
Right.
Um, and it's kind of it's kind of that's kind of always been the thing, but it's kind of re-solidified this year in terms of like, look, man, this is your passion, man. This is what I do. I don't care about the video games. I don't care about the Netflix shows. I don't care about the copious hours of YouTubing.
Yeah.
Um, Comics, man. Comics is the thing. So
Yeah.
I can continue on with that, but kind of the last thing, if you're kind of done with that um section, Ken, is
Hmm.
kind of the glaring thing in the room, man. We started the pod, right?
Oh
The
yeah.
the Comics Grind podcast was originated in 2023. So, and I can't
Yep.
even remember the month we started,
Yeah. Me
um
neither. Actually,
but
we
it's
we
it's yeah, go ahead.
we were talking about it for like a few like weeks before we actually started it. It was about a month or so before we actually
Yeah.
did the first episode, did a practice run, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It was, yeah, we did, I think we did a practice run, and then we kind of preloaded a few episodes. Obviously our quality has grown and grown and grown since
Yeah.
then. I don't even know if I want to go back and watch those first episodes. But you guys should, because we need the views.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's been good, man. It's been certainly a interesting project, and look forward to kind of to continue to grow with it, and talk to new guests and everything. But we
Yeah.
can talk about that stuff later on. But
For sure.
um, other than that, Ken, you got anything left in terms of the 2023 retrospective episode?
I don't know. How do you feel about 2023 in general? Like, how do you feel like you did? Did you accomplish everything you felt like you set out to do,
Um,
or is
I,
it
th-
more like a mixed bag?
I think for the like I said before, the main goal for 2023 was to finish the book.
Right.
And I think since I got that completed, I think my 2023 is a success. Um,
Nice.
Now it's all about, now what the hell do I do?
Right. Right. Right.
Which is fine, because I kind of, you know, I'm a very sequential type of worker. So it's
Mhm.
like, do step A, then step B, then step C. I'm
Yeah.
not great at doing A and B at the same time. Um,
Right.
so I'm kind of happy to be in that situation, but I know that there's still a long haul. And like I always say, there's always in the back of my mind, it's always, what's better, self-publishing all yourself or finding a publisher,
Right.
and that's always been my struggling question for the beginning of my comics, the very first one. It's always been that same question. So in that regard, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that portion of my brain has been a success this year, because I still don't have that answer, and I still don't know. Um, but we'll continue to try to find the answers. But yeah, all in all, 2023, I think it was a success for me. I think in terms of the shows that I did
Mhm.
the major show. I did a handful of shows, locally. I've expanded the network. I've done shows with my buddies, which has been awesome.
Right.
Expanded in that regard. Oh, HCS, dude! I didn't even talk about HCS.
Oh
The
yeah.
kind of local Houston zine that we've kind of put together for all the locals around here. That's been fun. It's been stressful. It's been real stressful, because
Right.
a lot of collaboration, a lot of designing, just putting stuff together. We were talking about it, Ken. We were kind of like, dude, sizing and formatting sucks ass,
Yeah.
So like with HCS, it's more of that,
Yeah.
all for free.
Right.
So, but that's another thing that I have to throw in there. But yeah, so it's been a success crafting wise, and it's been a
Mhm.
success networking wise, and kind of just building the outreach around the community and everything. So
Nice.
I think it's been a success, man. What about you? What about you?
Um, I would say this year I set out to really figure out how to grow online, how to grow a social media presence, and how to market my stuff. Because at the beginning of the year, I wanted to do a little mini zine where I would just draw like 30 images from Air Writer and package it all into like a little book and then post it up on Kickstarter and then sell $30,000 worth of copies and then just relax the rest of the year because I would just like make that money and that would be it. But marketing is, is something else. It's not it's completely different from what I thought. I thought I'd just be able to slap something up on online and then people would just want to buy it. Like, oh wow, I like the look of this. Let me give you all my money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had to learn uh everything that I had to learn. I had to learn 10 times more just to understand the thing that I learned before. And so I wanted to learn marketing. I thought, oh, okay, this will take like a couple months, and then I can get back to drawing the part that I actually like to do. I can get back to like making the comic and whatnot. Just a couple months marketing, and then straight back to it. That was 8 months ago. Like it's been 11 months of just hardcore focus on figuring out the process of like talking to people, networking, um setting up a website, setting up this, setting up that, just so that when you draw a picture, you can post it up online and have a whole network of traffic to post it to and then get people interested in the comic. It's like there's so much that I had to learn just to get a basic understanding of the process of marketing that now I have a great understanding of it, and it's basically just time to execute. Um just execute. I know how to get views on social media, get views on YouTube, get views on Instagram and Twitter and all that. It's just that I need the time and the space, which is coming up pretty soon, to actually execute on that and then craft a plan and systems and procedures to repeatedly do so that it ends up growing by itself. So if I do that, I can probably end up hitting certain goals by next year, but none of that happened this year. So I'm happy with what I learned, but I didn't really accomplish much in terms of making my comic or selling anything. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna try doing that next year. I've gotten to this program called Comics Launch, which has
Mhm.
really helped me figure out a lot of the marketing aspect and how to actually like post something on Kickstarter to allow it to make money. So I'm going to be focusing on that, trying to get that up and running, and yeah, hopefully next year will be a lot better, and we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's some good stuff. It's funny how, you know, at the beginning you thought you just throw something up there and like
Yes.
everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah.
It's just the the sad nature of the game now is there's just so much content out there. There's so many people doing this stuff. I
Yeah.
forget what podcast it was that I was listening to and who was the main guest. God, I cannot remember which one it was, but whoever it was like getting into comics and getting
Uh-huh.
established into comics was so much easier, you know, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, and now, and he was like, I'm so glad, you know, I kind of came up in that age
Oh man.
rather than this age, because there's just, you know, the barriers to entry are just so low now, and anybody can make a
Everyone's.
comic. Yeah, everybody
Mhm.
can make a comic and throw it up there, and it can be viral. It cannot be viral. It can be in between. It can, you know, there's no telling what kind of success that you can have at this. And that this is kind of what he's saying. You know, it's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Um, I want to say it was the Tradecraft podcast with Alex J. Morsey.
Uh-huh.
I forget which episode it was, but one of his guests on there was talking about it. But yeah, so it's just, you know, it's the reality of the game, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
the funny part about before us, and we want to do work, you know, that are aligned with them.
I'm sorry, can you start the sentence over again? Because it kind of froze there at the.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, what I was saying, it's just interesting that, you know, we're so inspired by some of these guys that came up before us,
Right.
and we kind of want to work and be in line with like some of the, you know, the way they kind of broke in, or like their styles, or, you know, just their overall kind of visions and views on comics in itself. But
Mhm.
um maybe like if you do that, there's no path to success like that anymore, because like that's already been done, you know, like
Yeah.
they've already done it, and you know, whoever was in their field at that time have already done it, so it's kind of like that ship has sailed. um
Right.
you know, and that's just kind of some good food for thought there.
Yeah, that door is closed pretty much.
Yeah, so we'll see, man, we'll see. It's still, time will tell, but you know, at the end of the day, we all love slinging some ink. We all love throwing some paint around. So
Yep.
we ain't gonna stop. Um,
Yep.
but other than that, Ken, I think that kind of caps it for the 2023 review, man. What do you
Yeah,
think?
man.
Good stuff. Awesome.
Yeah.
Ken, before we jet out, let the good people out there know where they can find you.
Everyone can find me on. Well, y'all can find me now on Facebook. It's basically just my name, Ken Nsidinanya. That's Nsidinanya. You can also find me on X or Twitter at thecomicsgrind. And then you can also find me on Instagram at comicsgrind. I'm mostly going to be on Twitter, and I'm just now breaking into Facebook. But you can also sign up for my newsletter. Basically, it's called the Flight Crew. It's it's in the description below, and basically you get a couple free comics. You get Air Rider number 1 and 2, and then you also get 2 surprise bonus comics. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Instagram and on X, although my activity on X has decreased significantly over the last few months. But you can find me on there at Nico_Writes, and you can follow and subscribe to my Substack for free at nicorodriguez.substack.com. You can read Brew Monsters there, my comedy comic about 5 monster friends who open up a brewery in Transylvania. I am serializing new pages there every Friday, so definitely tune into that. It's 100% free, so there's no reason you shouldn't be doing it. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Peace.